Heritage Captains are back, this time in the Storm King version. You can see I got all three cut in half here with the original Captain. You know, he's got plenty of leather in there, but a lot of synthetic components, and that's why when we worked with him on the Heritage Captain, leather internal components across the board. Leather shank, leather midsole, leather insole, leather heel counter, leather toe stiffener. And with the Storm King version, exact same thing, kind of a hybrid of the two, but still has all those leather components you want and need from the Heritage Captain. And these drop on Thursday, so get on that limited edition email list and get ready for the drop of the Storm King Captains.
So legend has it that this shoe wasn't even designed, it wasn't even manufactured, it just spawned out of a pool of spilled white monster, jock sweat, and tattoo ink. And if you whisper SLS Finals 3 times in the mirror, the Nyjah 4 will appear behind you. Is it a skate shoe? Is it a gym shoe? Is it a government experiment? I have no idea. So to kind of give this shoe more context, it's gonna help to know the pro skater behind it, Nyjah Huston, one of the most polarizing figures in all of skating. So who is Nyjah? Why is he polarizing? Let me run you through all of it. So Nyjah is an insanely good skater, just absolutely crushes everything he skates. It's so good, it's almost boring to watch because it's just like surgical, but he's so consistent and polished that he doesn't really have that loose, sketchy, like gritty style people really love in street skating. Most skaters I know want that style, creativity, and kind of personality, and Nyjah just kind of looks like he's running a simulator. He also leans way more athlete than skater. He trains in a gym, he lives in a mansion, he throws huge parties, has fancy cars. It kind of goes against the grain of like, I live in my homie's closet with half of a mattress on the floor kind of vibe of most skaters. Nyjah definitely gives off like that ESPN athlete who skates energy. Just look at the short shorts, man. His vibe is also pretty corporate with like huge sponsors like Nike and Monster. He's kind of the poster child for like skating as a sport and like selling out, which I get. I mean, if you're that good and you can win all the contests, might as well get the bag. I can kind of fully support that, to be honest. He just feels like he's the opposite of that typical skating profile of like weirdos and heshers. Like he's rich, he's shredded, ultra competitive, he's just like good at everything. He's just kind of jockey. But most importantly, he's still one of the best to ever do it. Like his video parts are nuts. It's just his vibe does not mesh well with a lot of skaters. He actually did a signing with his board brand Disorder next door at the skate shop, and I was like, that's a weird draw for like Salt Lake. Like I don't know how many people are gonna show up, and like we had a whole line down the block for people to see Nyjah, so he's a big name. But he used to skate for DC, and then he switched over to Nike, and his shoes kind of mirror his perception. Like they're just like jockey, sleek, clean, and more athlete than anti-hero. Trademark on that phrase, just coined it. They kind of look like CrossFit shoes with commitment issues. They look like creatine creepers, shoes that text their ex at 4 a.m., a pro model for a guy who dates 17-year-olds, a silicone spatula with performance anxiety, aqua socks with a college loan, Crocs that went to private school, the before picture in a Dr. Scholl's ad, a protein bar for your feet, the human foot DLC pack, orthotic slippers for robots, or Tesla shoes. But Nike actually has a ton of bold claims in this shoe. It's like being super duper abrasion resistant with heart, which is high abrasion rubber tech. We're going to alien autopsy this thing, run it through all of our abrasion and destructive tests to see if all the tech that Nike claims in this unorthodox skate shoe actually works, or if it's all just creatine fueled hype. So what is this shoe? So the brand is Nike SB, it's the skateboarding division of Nike. The style is the Zoom Nyjah 4, his 4th shoe. It weighs 13 ounces, retails for $115, and it's made in Vietnam. And the positioning from the brand's website says Nyjah delivers again. The Nyjah 4 still prioritizes a flexible fit, strong grip, and responsive cushioning. Stepping away from its predecessors, this design features a classic tongue structure and an updated traction pattern that feels like a Nyjah signature. But the feature I really am most interested in this is the heart, the high abrasion rubber tech. So it uses less rubber compound than our other XDR rubber technologies without sacrificing durability and abrasion resistance. Less material helps make the outsole lighter and more flexible, which we will put all of that to the test. And you can buy these shoes from the links in our bio if you want. We always put every shoe we review, good or bad, down there, so go check them out. So right off the bat, I want to say that against all my preconceived notions of this shoe, it fits shockingly well. Something about the combo of the slightly stiff but stretchy where it needs to be upper, and whatever it is on the inside is pretty soft right away. Like, I cannot believe how comfy these are on foot. So let's dive into what's actually going on inside. So if we go to the inside and lining, you can see the heel is lined with like textile and foam. It almost feels like memory foam-ish. But through the forefoot, it's like a stretchy sock that goes all the way down here instead of like your classic tongue straps that just go on either side. It really hugs your foot for comfort. It's something we've seen in a lot of basketball shoes, so like once again playing into that athlete vibe, but I actually do like this feature. It just feels like it's getting a little hug in there, which is weird. But if we move on to the insole, it's semi-removable, like it's got all this glue in it right here. It's your pretty classic like open cell foam with textile on top. You can see how skinny it's gotten. Like this thing is so compressed after it's been skated in it. But one thing very conspicuously missing is the classic Nike Zoom Air packet that is pretty standard in most SB Zoom models. Usually it's right here on the heel. It's not there. It's also, I can't see, it doesn't look like it's in here either, and I can't really tell what's underneath in the midsole area or not, so I hope it's in there, or once again we will have yet another busted Nike video. Because in every single Zoom skate model, there's a little packet of Zoom Air in the heel, so I hope it's in here. If not, that kind of sucks. It's either good or bad, I can't tell. So let's run a response test where we drop a ball and hit a bar on them to see how cushiony and responsive these shoes actually are. So if we run the lighter ball drop test, it comes in at a whopping 20.2 inches, which is really high, and it's second only to the Zoom Janoski. So there's probably an air unit in here somewhere, or they have a really good midsole foam that is air. I'm really curious to see once we get this cut in half what's actually in here. But if we flip it over to the bar drop test, which simulates like impact, like bigger drops, and it comes in at 3.5 inches, which is on the very lowest end. So you get a ton of response from inside the shoe, but it will cushion you a lot from the outside of the shoe. The lower bar drop number for skating is actually better because I think, this is just a hunch, when you land and the more impact that goes up, it goes straight into your knees and hips. So you actually want it to cushion a lot. So it's interesting that it has a lot of cushion and still has tons of response from the insole side, which is kind of sick. It's pretty good, honestly, like despite the fact that it looks like a gym bro's wet dream, it's performed pretty well so far. But the real claims are in the durability of this shoe, and honestly, that's what really matters in a skate shoe, especially if you're spending over $100 on a shoe that you just blast against grip tape all day, every day. You really want it to last. You can actually see right here, before we even start in the upper, that no matter what technology is in skate shoes, you blast through your laces every single time. So if someone can figure out a way to fix that, there's money there. There's definitely money in fixing that specific problem. But for the upper, there's 3 materials on this upper. It's got the textile part right here. It has this giant plastic external heel counter that's gonna help keep your ankle locked in. We learned from the basketball shoe series that we did that wherever you think you'd need like a high top to keep your ankle more supported and like keep it stiff, you actually just need a really locked in heel with a really stiff counter, kind of like the Harden shoes. So that's pretty big and beefy. It's not like crazy stiff, but it's definitely there and like it's hard. But I'm mainly interested in the rubber overlay that wraps on the top of the upper. I'm not sure if the upper is part of like the Hart high abrasion rubber technology. I don't know if it's just this outsole or if it's the rubber as well. It's a little vague on that front. So if you take the measurements of it, it comes in around like 1.5 to 2 millimeters thick, kind of depending on where you measure it. It's like has some molded like bumps into this. So for the Martindale abrasion test, we cut a circular sample out of the shoes. We also cut a circular sample of mob grip tape, which is the grippiest grip. The machine rubs the sample of the shoe against the grip tape in a circular motion. It also spins it around. You can't hide from that test. It covers every single square inch of the sample that we cut. It's a really good test to simulate kickflips and ollies again and again and again and again. And we have tested a ton of materials. So we have a really good gauge of what's the best material and what's the worst material in skate shoes you can probably see by the chart behind me right here. So what I do for the test is we measure the thickness. I set the machine for 500 cycles, and then every 500 I come back and check and measure the material to see how much is lost. After 500, it had barely lost any material, which is a good sign. So after 1,000, it had once again like barely lost anything at all. It's like barely even registering on our calipers. So I was like, all right, let's just set it for a lot, and we'll set the camera there and we can kind of pick out when it fails. So after 3,500, it had still barely lost any material, which is like the top for all of the tests that we have done so far. So I was like, all right, let's just let it crank away even more. So we checked back, and at 7,000, it was still holding strong. So after the 7,000, I'm like, all right, let's just do it for another 5,000 and kind of check back in to see when it fails. So unfortunately, it ran so long that our camera died, but luckily our camera died right at the very end. So it finally failed somewhere between 11,500 and 12,000, which is insane. It's by and far the absolute abrasion king so far. It's 4 times as abrasion resistant as the best leather we have tested so far. But, you know, there are pros and cons that come with being that abrasion resistant. So the pros, pretty dang abrasion resistant, no doubt about that at all. My surrogate skater who usually puts holes in his shoes after 1 session, these lasted the entire month or so that he was skating them. I had him skate them for a long time to try and break them in. But the cons are, he did say it was a little bit slippery at first, like right out of the box. Like it's nothing that's gonna absolutely kill his session, but it was a little more slippery, like say, especially than like a Volk or your normal one. And other cons that I didn't even realize until I started testing it is this rubber is actually just glued or heat bonded on. Like whatever it is, it's not on super duper tight. Like I peeled it off without even having to use any tools here. Like I just got a little edge under here and it was just like peeled off, which is a little bit worrying. It has this little lip on the upper that kind of protects you up here, but it doesn't have that down here on the actual shoe, which worries me a little bit because when you're ollieing, you're going up against this grain. So I feel like that might peel off after once. Like if you're doing like a big ollie, it's pretty high up there, but I don't know. That was a pretty big worry for me. Now, pretty much every single skate shoe does run into a similar style of problem, but I always like to see double redundancy, especially in skate shoes where you're just destroying them. So like adding just one line of stitching right there might be good because when you kick through the stitching, you at least have the glue, vice versa. But if we go to the outsole, which is that, I'm 95% sure that this is the Heart technology that's more abrasion resistant, but I don't know, that's super abrasion resistant too, so maybe it's both. I have no idea. Nike hit me up and let me know. So if you measure the hardness of the outsole, it comes in at about 70 Shore A, which is a little bit on the hard side. The higher the number, the harder and more durable it's gonna be, and the lower the number, the softer and grippier, but less durable it's gonna be. So you can kind of see where the slipperiness is coming in a little bit. So to really test the abrasion resistance of this, I'm going to just straight up put it on a belt sander for 30 seconds compared to a beast of durability, the New Balance 1010. So I put the 1010 on the belt sander for 30 seconds, and you can see it took a pretty big chunk out of the outsole. It's still intact, but like there's a big divot. So then I put the Nyjah on for 30 seconds, but I don't know if you can see the Nyjah after 30 seconds because literally like almost nothing happened. It just made it shiny. Like you can kind of see it right there. Like look at the difference in these two. There is almost no material gone. There's like a tiny little divot out of it, and this one's like a big chunk out. That's crazy. I actually just sat there, and what was happening, I kept pressing it harder and harder because it was like, something must be wrong because literally nothing is happening to this. But it's like my surrogate skater did say, they're pretty slippery at first. Not like they're not gonna kill your session slippery, but they're super abrasion resistant, which does mean they're gonna be a little harder and a little slipperier than something like this, which is a little softer. That's everything we can see from the outside. I'm super curious how this is really built, especially at this price point. It could either be foam or an egg crate outsole. It might not even have an air unit. I have no clue what to expect actually, because Nike's all over the place with their price points and like pro models and takedowns. I have no clue. So let's get this thing chopped in half.
This is all of our boot accessories that we've slowly developed over like the last 4 years as we've done more and more boot reviews and realized how many things are missing in the market. Because if you're watching this, there's a good chance you have a nice boot, and one of the funnest things to do with it is start to build it out, kit it out, customize it, make it your own as you're breaking it in. And that's what these kilties and boot pocket kits allow you to do. We got them in a bunch of different leathers, a lot of really popular boot leathers. They come in different sizes. You got the fringe, you got the no-shows, you got 6, 8, 10 inch, you got the boot pocket kit with 3 different pockets, different sizes. You sew it on the side of your boot, sew it on your jacket, sew it on anything. And we also just released these laces, but they sell out every time we get a restock. So if they are sold out, get on that limited edition email list. We'll announce when we have a restock of these. Even down to the Jim Green outsole we designed with Jim Green for the barefoot boots. You can buy them on our site. But the most surprising products of the year that really were shockingly successful was the boot breakers. You know, we launched this, it was 2 millimeters of foam and a high abrasion fabric just to help break your boots, because this hard veg tan is such a pain to break in for the first few weeks. Just having 2 millimeters of squish still allows you to break in that insole, still allows you to get the whole heritage feel, but it eases that painful break in until you're ready to pull them out, or you just leave them in for tons of comfort. And we just launched the 4 millimeter foam boot breaker if you want just a little extra squish, twice as thick as the original boot breaker. So now that you've bought probably a few high quality boots, customize them, protect them, make them a little bit more comfortable. That's what all these accessories do. So be sure to check out all these below. They make great gifts, self gifts, and it's a huge way that you can help support the channel. So check them out below.
Goodness. All right, so we got this thing cut in half. Make sure to, like and subscribe. It's the easiest thing you can do to support us. It's free for you guys, and it helps us. We're buying like $500 worth of shoes every single week to cut in half, so you guys know what you're spending your money on. Or go check out some of our handmade leather goods. They're just hand sewing them right now. It's Black Friday today, so they're pretty busy. But I want to say, before I do the reveal, this thing cut like butter, and it cut so easily. I was like, this is not a good sign because it cuts this easily. So let's see what's inside. So you can see, I was very worried about the inside of this, but it's actually built in a really cool way. So the midsole is not only a full-length midsole that runs the entirety of your shoe, it also has the bottom-loaded Zoom Air unit. I mean, this thing looks like one of Nike's basketball shoes that we've cut apart, which is crazy. So I took the measurements of this foam to see how soft it actually is. It measures in about 30 Shore A, which is pretty standard, so it won't feel too squishy or like too hard. But the outsole is a little bit on the thin side. It's 3.5 millimeters at the thickest, but literally as I'm recording this right now, I'm like, if it's that abrasion resistant, it can be that thin. That's interesting. I was gonna call that a con, but it might not actually be a con, which is crazy. For the analysis, overall, what's going on with the shoe? In theory, I thought the shoe was super duper whack. I think a lot of people have that same reaction. And we busted Nike so many times on their marketing machine. I was like, this is just gonna be like some weirdo garbage shoe that they have to give to Nyjah because he's that popular and it never really sells. Everyone always sits on their Nyjahs because they look too weird for most skaters. But it performs really well on all fronts. Like the tech actually works, although it does have some flaws like the lack of stitching holding the rubber on, and it's gonna be a little bit slippery at first. And you know, you do blow through the laces. This lace actually held up, but it's about to go. You skate this a couple more times, it's gone. I'm actually shocked, like, well done Nike. Who would have thought, coming from us, we say well done Nike. All of that said, it is a very specific look. The black on black definitely hides the overt like gymnast crossfittiness of this shoe. It's kind of growing on me actually. I was watching my friend skate, I was like, it doesn't look too bad, black on black or like white on white, but I find it really hard to picture a very Hesher dude wearing this. Like we have a lot of Hesh dudes in Salt Lake City that are like Shep Dog, like Oceanside, California looking guys. And I think it would be kind of funny to have like one of those dudes roll up in these, but I don't see that happening. I do not see that happening ever. But it curates a very specific person who's gonna wear this shoe. And I ran a poll through all of my friends who I was like, yo, I text them all the time. I'm like, oh, what do you guys think about this shoe? What do you think about this? And I was like, these perform really well. Like they have some of the best performance results that we've done on any skate shoes. Does that even matter to you? And in classic skater fashion, they're like, no way in would I wear this, bro. They look like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs shoe. It's style over performance always, which I feel pretty much the same way as them. But like after seeing the black on black, it's growing on me a little bit. But I've kind of detached myself from style in order to make these videos to be like completely objective, completely honest. So like honestly, the last two Nikes that we have done, that Eshad and the Nyjah, have been sick. It looks like the staples of Nike's line are falling behind and getting more expensive than these shoes, which have more tech in them and are cheaper, but are like way more polarizing. Like put all this into a blazer, put all this into a dunk, it's gonna blow up. Like dunks and blazers are just as expensive as this, and you're getting less tech, less shoe. Like you're getting leather, but it's like pretty bad Nike leather most of the time. What are we doing? If I had to sum this whole video up in one like soundbite, is I can't believe how good this shoe is and how whack it looks. What do you guys think of this shoe? Like, would you wear it regardless of the style, or is it too close to like gym bro jock vibes? Like, what's your guys' take on Nyjah? Nyjah just has a certain connotation that some people are not gonna wanna be like him, look like him, wear his shoes. It's tough out there. Anyways, that's the whole video. Let me know what you guys think of this shoe. I mean, some of the colorways are crazy, some of the colorways are more chill. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Window Seat Studios. Shout out to Leif, one of the New Balance designers, sent me this cool hat. It's his little side brand. Go check them out. I think that's it. I'm gonna keep rambling on, and now it's really hard for me to end these videos. I'm on crutches. It makes it so much harder.